Welcome to another explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this chilling narrative and unpack the mechanics of a real folklore terror. Picture this. It's midnight. It's pouring rain. A whole colony is pitch black, except for a single illuminated bungalow belonging to the author, Kailashnath.
Now ask yourself, what would you do if you were sitting completely alone in a raging storm and a stranger suddenly knocked on your door? Well, Kailash hears his doorbell ring at this ungodly hour. He opens it to find a young woman shivering under an umbrella. She says her name is Aditi, a journalist, and practically begs to come inside out of the freezing cold. Kailash, being polite, lets her in, offers her some coffee by the heater, and without even realizing it, he literally invites his own doom right into his living room.
Section 1. The Midnight Interview. So Aditi hasn't just come to escape the rain. She reveals she's been trying to track him down for ages to ask about his massive 1990 hit horror novel, Chalawa. She wants to know, was it real? Kailash hesitates. You can see this deep, lingering fear in his eyes. But eventually he breaks. He confesses he's been hiding a terrifying secret for decades about his three friends, the Vic, Pooja, and Nitin. A secret that literally hasn't let him sleep for years.
But before we get into his flashback, we really need to lay some groundwork here. What exactly is a Chalawa? Listen, we aren't dealing with your standard haunted house ghost here. In regional folklore, a Chalawa is a relentless, shape-shifting predator. It's an illusion, and the absolute worst part, it's obsessive persistence. Once a Chalawa locks its gaze on you, it never, ever lets go. Period.
Section 2. The 1990 Village Flashback. Journey into Darkness.
Okay, let's rewind to 1990. Kailash and his college friends are planning a trip, but their buddy Nitin has to head back to his mountain village early for his sister's wedding. Nitin calls Kailash and gives him a crystal clear warning. Come tomorrow morning, but whatever you do, do not catch the afternoon train. Why? Because that train arrives at 6 p.m., and in his village, the Chalawa hunts after dark. But you know how horror tropes go, right? In a classic display of sheer arrogance, the friends totally ignore him. They want to disprove the local superstition, so they decide to take that exact train anyway. And this kicks off a really chilling sequence of fatal errors. They take the forbidden afternoon train. They arrive right at 6 p.m. in this damp, freezing mountain station. And surprisingly, Nitin is actually waiting for them. He scolds them for ignoring his warning, then tells them to follow him. What happens next is just deeply unsettling. It's a 1-kilometer walk in pitch black, absolute silence. Nitin, who is usually super talkative, doesn't say a single word. The friends just brush it off, assuming he's trying to prank them by acting spooky.
Section 3, the Graveyard Revelation. A horrifying truth.
So the group is walking, and they pass a cremation ground where villagers are chanting. Suddenly, this silent version of Nitin tells Pooja there's sweet water at a nearby pond and leads her away into the dark. Kailash and Vivek stay behind, kind of curious about the funeral. They walk up to the pyre and see Nitin's father weeping. Confused, they're like, "Why are you crying? Nitin is literally right here with us." The villagers just freeze in sheer terror. The priest orders the boys to lift the shroud on the pyre. They pull it back, and it's the real Nitin's dead body. Which means the thing currently leading Pooja into the darkness, yeah, that's the Chalawa. By the time Vivek and Kailash sprint to the pond with the villagers, it's way too late. And this perfectly illustrates the Chalawa's horrifying attack pattern. It flawlessly mimics a loved one, isolates a vulnerable target, and then drains their blood completely. Pooja's lifeless body is lying there, pale as a sheet, but then her eyes snap open. She lunges at Vivek and snaps his neck with impossible force. So the entity doesn't just kill you, it turns you into a literal weapon against your own friends. Section 4. The Curse of Vaishali. Origin of the Terror. Right after that, the pond water starts boiling with black smoke, and this horrifying woman with completely white eyes rises out of it, laughing. The priest throws some enchanted powder into the water to temporarily repel her, and the survivors run for their lives to a temple. Once they're safe, the priest drops the lore. Years ago, a dark magic practitioner named Vaishali was burned alive by the villagers at that exact pond. Her vengeful spirit became the first Chalawa. This perfectly explains the infectious nature of the curse. Anyone she kills is denied salvation and instantly becomes a Chalawa too, just like Nitin, Pooja, and Vivek. And then the priest delivers the absolute, unbreakable rule of this folklore. Those who Vaishali sees once, she never leaves. You can't just run away from this thing. Once her white eyes lock onto yours, you belong to her. This single sentence lays the groundwork for the total dread that haunts Kailash for the rest of his life. But before Kailash leaves the village the next morning, the priest gives him one crucial lifeline. It's an enchanted thread, an Abhi Mantrit Taga. The priest ties it securely to Kailash's wrist with a strict warning: never, under any circumstances, take this off. As long as he wears it, he's totally safe. In this universe, that thread is literally his only magical defense against the curse.
Section 5. The deadly final twist. The illusion returns.
All right, let's snap back to the present day. Kailash finishes telling this horrific story to Aditi in his living room. He sighs, saying he still misses his friends. Aditi just casually replies, "Do you think the Chalawa will still come after you? By the way, you aren't wearing that thread today." Kailash freezes. He looks down at his wrist. It's bare. Pure panic sets in as he realizes his one layer of protection is gone. And then Aditi drops an absolute bombshell. She calmly tells him that the cursed village from 1990, it doesn't even exist anymore. It's been completely wiped out, reduced to nothing but graves and ash.
As she says this, Aditi's voice drops. It gets deep and chillingly cold. Her face twists into something horrific. Her eyes roll back until they are completely white, and her lips turn a deathly blue. She looks right at Kailash and says, "Your friends miss you very much. They are yearning to meet you." She was never a journalist. The entity flawlessly mimicked a human just to bypass his defenses. It's the Chalawa, finally here to collect on a decades-old promise.
A single, terrifying scream pierces the dead silence of the colony. The next morning, police find Kailashnath's lifeless body right there in his drawing room. His face is contorted in absolute ultimate terror, his eyes frozen wide open. The Chalawa played the long game, and it won. The rule remains unbroken. Kailash thought he was completely safe in his own home, pouring coffee for a real human being. But the Chalawa is an illusion that walks with you forever. If some shadows never leave and can flawlessly mimic absolutely anyone, how can you be completely sure who is really sitting beside you right now? Think about that the next time someone knocks on your door in the middle of a storm. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and always keep questioning what you see.